Scores. Welcome back to the channel, man. We're a little late today. We had some minor difficulties getting everything set up, but if you here, you locked in. I'm glad you stayed, you stuck around. We definitely appreciate it. We had a pretty good weekend. You know, how about you, E? What you been doing this weekend, bro?
It was a cool weekend. You know, there was a Drake event going on.
Is a who event?
Drake event.
What's that?
It was like they were just playing Drake songs all night.
And you went to that?
Of course.
Close that door. You went to a Drake event?
Yeah, bro.
Is it like the event where like y'all all dress up like Drake?
Nah.
Is it one of those?
Nah, it wasn't one of those. They were just playing Drake songs all night, bro.
So you're a big Drake fan?
Of course, bro.
Okay, all right. I like Drake too. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like what extent you kids go to show your love for Drake. You know what I mean? Let me ask you this. Would you dress up like Drake? Like, would you, like, if it was a competition, and they like, yo, the best Drake impression, right? We'll give you $5,000. $5,000 for the person that's going to dress up like Drake and do it the best. Would you do it?
Nah, I wouldn't do that though.
No?
Nah, I'm not that much of a.
All right, 10,000. 10,000.
Nah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Drake, but I'm not gonna dress up like him, bro.
Damn. So you don't. So basically, you don't like money. That's what you're saying. That's what I'm gathering. $10,000, and you wouldn't dress up like Drake. Wow.
No amount of money in the world, bro.
Good. Because you're dark skinned, so it wouldn't work anyway. I mean, I just wanted to see how far you'll take it, man. As you can see, man, we just rapping, man. Hey, but you know what, man? Shout out to everyone who's on the East Coast. As some of you may know, I'm from Philly, and a lot of my family right now, they snowed in, they in a blizzard. You know, we out here in sunny California, and you know, I hope you guys are staying warm. You know, staying warm. I remember them days. When you get crazy amounts of snow. That was like payday for me when I was a young boy. When I was young, I see the news. Oh, it's gonna be a blizzard. And I'm already got my gear ready for the next day. No school. We walking up and down the street. $10, $20. I forget the cost. $20 will shovel your whole front step. Me and my man Kai, we split it half and half. So I'm assuming it was $20. We walk away, man. You know, it's funny because $130, $200 over a span of like 2 days, 3 days, that was like, you felt like you was rich. $200, no bills, no phone bills. The only thing you want to do is eat. That's it. You rich at that age. Then, not to mention, if you want, like, listen, like the shoes was even different. Like Air Force Ones used to be like $30, $40. I mean, obviously you wouldn't buy it in the snow, but you didn't need nothing. Like we had like growing up, we had like one pair of school shoes and one pair of basketball shoes. That was it. And we had that for a season. So starting the new year, you might got two nice pairs of shoes. Then you had outdoor shoes, you had your indoor shoes. That was it. So that little 200, you ain't even like, oh man, I gotta get this, I gotta get that. It wasn't no social media, so you ain't know what dudes had. You know what I mean? I grew up in Philly. So we would wear Dickies sets. We was wearing Dickies. Dickies was $40. You got 3 pairs of them. You got 3 sets of them. And we was wearing them multiple times a week. Blue Dickie set worn 2 times, 3 times a week. And no one ever, I know y'all thinking, man, that's dirty. No one ever clowned us. But man, shout out to y'all, man. I hope y'all staying warm, man. Love my East Coast people. You know, I can't relate right now, but you know, I still love y'all. It's all love. I hope y'all having fun. Quick question, E. Have you ever played rec ball? Like rec ball, what's another word for it? YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, rec center leagues. Ever played?
Yeah, I play park basketball. If you're talking about that.
Park basketball?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think it's ruining the mindsets of basketball players and parents?
I feel like nowadays, yeah. But coming up, it was like that was a place to play at. That's where everybody played at. That's where the good kids would be at. You know what I'm saying?
So you played for me. So you played for me when you was a player, right? Mm-hmm. Now my question to you is this: when you right before you played for our team, did you play rec ball or park ball, as you call it?
Yeah, but I was like 5th, 6th grade though.
So you had a big gap.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was. So here's the thing. I believe that rec ball is good, or park ball, whatever you want to call it. I think it's good to a certain extent. I think it's steps. I think it's a decent prerequisite to starting AAU. I think it weeds guys out. I think it's efficient for ages. Out here, they start at 5. So I think it's efficient for 5 to like 10. Nah, that's too long. 5 to like 8, 9. And if you start your kid at 8, I think it's good for 8 to like 10. I think 10 is like your cutoff, though, to be honest. The reason why I say that is the reason why I say it's ruining the mindset is because everyone gets a trophy. So there's no competitive spirit. There's no structure in it. So everyone, like, you only get 1 practice a week. Some of the kids don't even come to that. And then they still come in and play the same amount of minutes as the kids who played, who came to all the practices. That's not realistic. And parents, when they get to the AAU set, or their AAU circuit, I should say, they're like confused. What? We got to practice twice? What? We got to drive over there? We got to do this? What? Yeah, it's travel ball, club ball, AAU. Like it's 3 notches. It should be at least 3 notches higher than your rec team. Then when you look at it, one of my, I'm not going to say pet peeves, but what I will say is one of my things that always stands out to me, or one of the comments that always stands out to me from parents who kids participate in rec ball is, he had 20 points yesterday. He had 25 points. And then he plays travel ball and he's scoring 6, 4. And he's struggling with the ball up the court on the press. The reason being is because the competition level is different. You're playing against kids who might practice once a week, if that. And that's if you're not in a really good league. Don't get me wrong. There's some rec teams in some neighborhoods that's like really competitive, and that's fair, right? But a lot of them, they're playing against a competition that doesn't know what they're doing. They don't practice. So yeah, he had 25. You know why he had 25? Because he's also playing with a club team that actually practice. So yes, of course. So he's a standout there, but he's not a standout with other club teams. I think it should be a cutoff at like 10. At 10 years old, I think it should be a cutoff. Like, because at that point, right, I think you should, now it depends, right? I think between 8 and 10, you should be trying to figure out, is your kid serious about basketball? Do they want to, because they start to make up their mind. Sometimes it's influenced through their friends. And then you can kind of see the skills. You can see what they do. Like, are they going outside by themselves and shooting the ball? Are they dribbling the basketball? Are they asking you to go to the park? Are they asking you to play? Are they saying that are they getting upset because they got to miss their games? They got to miss their practice? Then if that's your kid, At 10 years old, you start taking it serious. You should start diving into, all right, let me see how you handle adversity, because there will be adversity as you enter a new market of basketball. And for the parents are also in a confusing spot as well, because it might be a dad that coaches directly YMCA, and he'd be like, "Oh man, we won a championship last year." Did you really win it? You know, like they'll consider themselves coaches. I mean, some of you guys just get the best team and y'all win the game, but y'all don't. It's not like developing. Like, you're not developing a player. You're literally switching teams every season. It's just a league. That's not coaching. Like, you see a kid 1 hour a week. That's not coaching. That's just organizing games. That's just facilitating the roster. It's not really coaching. Like, so when I always get parents who probably, not always, but in my years that I've been coaching, and that's been like 16, 17 years now, I've had 2 parents in my whole time come to me like, "Hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" Or suggest certain things. Obviously, it's always geared to their son or something like that. And then they don't understand the grand scheme of things. They don't understand, like, if, let's say I got a kid that's not as talented as others, and we're playing a team in a tournament, and I know we're going to beat this team that we're playing, but the next game or two are going to be against some tough teams. I'm trying to get the kid that's not going to play a lot to play in this game more than anybody else, because he might not play the next game. But the coach dad coach, whatever you want to call it, all they see is points, points, points. Let's run the score up. So that's when it gets confusing. And they'll look at me like, "You don't know what you're doing. You should be I'm looking at the whole picture. I'm looking at the entire picture. I've had parents, dads, come to me and say, "Hey, my kid," let me go back. There are times I've had multiple teams of the same age group. But the difference between the multiple team or the teams was one group was with me before the other group. So it wouldn't be fair to the older group to have to wait until the newer group catch up. And I had it organized in a way where I don't have 8 good players on one team. I have 2 or 3 really good players, and 2 good players and 1 that's kind of behind, but he's been with the group, right? The reason why I don't put all the best players in my program on one team is because they don't develop. They don't develop well. Because then what happens to the guys who really can't play? What happens to let's say I put all the good players on one team, if I have 4 point guards, how do they develop their leadership skills if all 4 of them on the same team? If all 4 of them had the basketball, all 4 of them want the ball, how do we develop them at that point? So I've had families come to me and say, "Hey, I want my kid on this team. Or why are they on this team? My kid is better." It's not about being better. It's about, okay, this kid right here who's kind of behind with the group, he needs the other kids so he can get some shots, so he can develop at least his shot and his confidence. If I put all the players who are still young and still new with no experience all on one team, it can hurt the confidence. There's going to be a lot of games being lost. The games aren't competitive. It's just no fun. Not to mention, keep in mind, we're talking 10. So at that age, you're trying to develop the mindset as much as possible. How to be a leader, how to work as a team, how to play hard, how not to give up. It's easy for you to put all good 10-year-olds on one team and then outskill the other 10-year-old teams and then just jump up and down like, "Oh, we won the game, we won the tournament." That's easy. But what happens when they reach adversity? Especially when they coming from a rec team. So they start winning games, then they stop coming to practice. Oh, we done won 2 tournaments in a row. It's time to stop coming to practice. It's time to stop. So now they under the impression that they can win without practicing. Then they get to high school, everybody discombobulated. We got to practice 5 days a week. Parents waiting in the parking lot, pissed. Damn, I got to be here 5 days a week, man. Yes. That's what it takes to be good. Then I've had parents who come to me and, I try to break it down through my philosophy, right? Winning culture over winning games. And I try to tell them like what I'm trying to accomplish, even in the tougher games. They just had a parent tell me basketball is just basketball. We just got to do what works. Nah, not if doing what works to you means your son turning the ball over 9 times and then that's not going to work. That's not going to work. It doesn't help the team. It doesn't help the team. I've had parents tell me, my kid can dribble. It's a difference between dribbling and being a ball handler. There's a difference. Handles, twing, that's dribbling. Ball handler. I can dribble up the court. I can catch the basketball, square up, pivot, and handle the ball without turning it over. That's a ball handler. Excuse me. Yes, that's a ball handler. You think of Nikola Jokic. You want to be like, oh, he got a crazy handle. But he can push the ball. He can make efficient passes. That's a great ball handler. Magic Johnson. He didn't give you twing, cross. But he can push the ball, make efficient passes. So I think and the reason why I brought this up is just like a disconnect between families and players. And I always want to just give you guys insight on how basketball former players think and what they've been through. Like, I understand a lot of families and dads, and they play high school and then stop. But you got to understand, if you have a coach who played college, played pro, and that doesn't necessarily mean they always can coach. That doesn't mean they're always right. But you got to at least understand there's levels to insight. There's levels to insight. There's levels to the wisdom on the court. Because high school doesn't require you to watch film for 4, 5, 6, 8 hours out of the week. High school doesn't give you exposure to former high-level basketball players and high-level coaches. College does. So when you do have a good coach, you got to honor that coach and understand that everything he says is not right, but it's a reason why you're playing with this coach versus we do this over in rec ball and this is what happens. This is what should be happening here. Nah, not that. If it was that, we wouldn't have AAU. Coaches wouldn't come. Gilbert Arenas. Your boy Gilbert Arenas, man. I like Gil, man. Shout out to Gil, man. He gave me an interview 2 years ago, him and Elijah Arenas. Elijah Arenas back on the court. And I'm happy to see it. I'm really happy to see it. Gilbert Arenas talked about in 1992, the Olympics, no one talked bad about Michael Jordan and the Dream Team. Now, obviously, this was before you were born, right? But let me ask you, since because you're young, did you ever hear people talk bad about Michael Jordan before you got into the media space?
Talk bad about Michael Jordan? Nah, not really, to be honest with you.
Not really.
Nah, not really.
Not really. So you will always hear like the most positive things you can think of, huh?
Yeah. By MJ, yep.
Well, that is true. And it's not because Michael Jordan did no wrong. That's not the case. Michael Jordan inspired millions of people, and I'm part of that group. Obviously, guys like LeBron is part of that group. Wearing number 23. And 23 wasn't popular until Michael Jordan did it. Michael Jordan was the first of his kind. Like, he really changed the way we view basketball. So every praise that he gets, he deserves. Every fan that he has, he deserves. But one of the reasons why you really didn't hear too much negativity when it came to the 90s basketball is because they was in rebranding earlier on. So 1992 was the early 90s, obviously, but that was right before or right after, what's his name? David Stern. David Stern did a deal for $600 million over 4 years. You think they're going to have people talking bad about the product? You think in a rebranding stage they're going to have people talking bad about the product? It was no, and it's not the fact. It's not like Michael Jordan didn't have bad games. As a hooper, real hooper, former hooper, old hooper, new hooper, young hooper, there were times you had a bad game. Plenty of times if you played a lot. Michael Jordan is no exception. He had bad games. But you're not going to hear about it. Obviously, social media wasn't around, so nobody was going to tweet it. Nobody was going to share it, repost it. Nobody was going to do all that. So it wasn't there. And then you got to also understand this when it comes to the rebranding. They were coming out of a rival era. So as you know, Lakers, Boston Celtics were rivals. But a lot of that rival had to do with race. Boston Celtics had over 9 white American players. The Lakers had, I believe, 8. And right before the 80s, it was almost like crazy to see more than 3 black players on the same team. Like, this is like 78, 79. So David Stern jumps in and he gets bigger deals. So now he got to make the NBA look friendly. So what better way than to do a deal and then make sure we have no negativity? Not to mention some of the gimmicks they had for the players. Why would Larry Johnson need to dress up like a woman? Why would he need to dress up like a woman to sell a shoe? Grandmama? Why would he have to do that? I don't mind it. Get your money, player. But I'm just saying. Shaq, you might say Shaq was a rapper. He was. But he was a very kid-friendly rapper. He didn't cuss. Shaq was in movies where he was a damn genie. He was a genie. Space Jam, 96. Jordan, the Looney Tunes. The Puppets with Anthony Hardaway. These things happen because you had to keep a friendly brand. You had, and remember, basketball wasn't global just yet. It was global, but it was like people didn't think it would work a decade before. They didn't think it would work. David Stern was, you're not talking about the product. You want to interview Michael? Make sure it's all positive stuff. Hey, who you? Your name E? Didn't I see your report about Charles Barkley and the X, Y, and Z? Nah, don't let him get an interview. That's how it worked. So when you think about how Jordan was perceived and the way people see him now, is because it was almost crazy to talk bad about him. It was almost crazy to challenge who he played against. You didn't hear debates like, yeah, Jordan won, but he never beat Bird. You didn't hear these debates. Jordan was good, but Hakeem Olajuwon got a better record over him, and they almost went like a 7-year stretch where it wasn't winning in Houston. So you didn't hear that. So and I think that's the difference in the legacies. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he got 6 rings. Some people are like, yo, why they don't never talk about he wasn't media friendly. He wasn't media. He was running around with Muhammad Ali. He was cool with those guys. So you got to understand, the NBA didn't want to get behind that. They didn't want to back that up. Look at Jordan. Clean cut brother. Bald. No facial hair. No nothing. No nothing. I remember when I was in school and we was doing marketing. This was a marketing class. And they was talking about how a trustworthy face doesn't have hair on it. They was like, look at the presidents. How many times you see the presidents with a goatee? You never see a president with a goatee. You never see a president with a beard. Imagine your president letting his beard hang. They like, nah. Huh?
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln. Mm-hmm. That wasn't media. There was no media around Abraham Lincoln.
Good point.
Right. So a clean face. Shit, I don't even remember when Jordan started losing hair. I don't even remember when Jordan started losing hair. Like, when did you? Jordan ain't never had like the convertible top. You ain't never see the hair with the convertible top. You start to see LeBron, his shit was leaving. Jordan just, one day he was hooping with hair, next day bald. Bald, no face. I never even seen Jordan with a mustache, nothing. But that's what is all part of the marketing scheme. Same thing with Shaq. Shaq was like 22, bald. How? A fresh baldy at 22? Like, what you doing, Shaq? Shaq went from the Gumby, bald. Shaq would grow his hair for music and then play bald. I'm telling you, you wasn't seeing none of this stuff. The outlier of the 90s that shook up everything, Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson shook up everything. He changed a lot when it comes to the culture of basketball. He would come in, white tee, homies, everybody, bang, let's roll. David Stern said, nah, y'all gotta put some suits on. Come dressed to impress. So Gil right. You wasn't hearing nothing about Jordan, bro. You wasn't hearing nothing about Jordan. But speaking of the Bulls, Derrick Rose retirement. They retired his jersey. I'm glad they retired his jersey. I think that's very honorable of the Bulls. I mean, he played 15 seasons. Not all of them was with the Bulls, but he was the youngest MVP at 22 years old, 2010, 2011. He averaged 25 and 7. And listen, man, I watched Derrick Rose's journey from the mixtapes, 2008. When I tell you, he was like the first. Like, I know Baron Davis was in the league when it comes to explosive guards, but I think it's safe to say Derrick Rose's bounce was a little different. His moves was a little different. So he was like the first guy I saw, like when I first, like the first person I can remember or going on YouTube. Like, who's Derrick Rose? That was the first guy. And then it followed up with a few other guys, and we'll get to that in a second. But He went to Memphis, had me locked in with every time Memphis played, because I'm a big John Calipari fan. He led the Memphis Tigers a 38-2 record. 38-2 record, lost in the championship to the Kansas Jayhawks. And I think he deserved it. I think Derrick Rose deserved his number to be retired. That number 1 was off limits. Some people say statue. I don't. I think if it's a hometown hero thing, yeah, give him a statue. If it's a contribution thing, stat-wise and legacy-wise, nah. Not to the Bulls. Like, he didn't play the whole time there. He wasn't there the whole time. He had his best years there, but after that, y'all treated him like yesterday's paper and threw him out. You know what I'm saying? E, how you feel about Derrick Rose, bro? Are you a big Derrick Rose fan? In fact, where were you in 2008? How old were you? Let the public know. 2008.
I think
that was 12 years ago.
12 years ago. I think I was 8.
No, dang, that wasn't no damn 12 years ago. I'm tweaking. That was 22 years ago. Oh.
I was 8 years old in 2008.
No. You was 8 years old?
Yeah.
8 years old?
I was in elementary school. So I was.
Is that 22 years? No, that's 18. That's 18 years. My bad. That's 18 years. That's 18 years ago. And you would say what?
Yeah, I was in elementary school.
Elementary school. Did you know anything about Derrick Rose?
No, I wasn't watching basketball like that.
Another casual. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a time. It was a time, man. That's when like the new era started coming in. The new mixtape era was wild. Speaking of the mixtape, we got the best mixtape. Like the guys who had the best mixtape I've seen. The first one is Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is up there. He was one of the first guards I was watching. Like, yo, this dude got bounce. He can shoot. He can get to the bat. Obviously, shooting is in high school versus NBA is different, so it looks a little different. Then it was Tyreke Evans. Tyreke Evans was there. Oh, shoot, you know what? I'm capping. I just realized something. Tyreke Evans was there. Derrick Rose was there. They was the first guys on the mixtapes that was like 6'3" or 6'3", 6'4", and up that can dribble the ball, dunk, do all the things that guys are doing in the league. But one of the best mixtapes I seen, and this is when I was in college as well, Brandon Jennings. Brandon Jennings was cold, and he would put on a show. Brandon Jennings would start dancing, and he getting the crowd moving. He was pulling up from half court on a pull-up, dribble down, pull up, lefty, cocking it back to the air, releasing. He was tough. Derrick Rose, Austin Rivers. I had to go back and watch Austin Rivers because I interviewed a few guys from Florida, and they was like, yo, Austin Rivers was wild, bro. He was cooking dudes. Austin Rivers is there. Now, this came recommended, and I had to go look at it. LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball was there, and here's why LaMelo Ball, to me, his mixtape is high. LaMelo Ball we got a chance to see him play from freshman to now. So we got a chance to see the growth, the height, all that stuff happen right in front of us. And he played the same way the entire time. He played the same way now. At some point, when Derrick Rose injured himself, Tyreke Evans came in the league, Austin Rivers, they had to relax. They had to chill. Not so much Brandon Jennings, but LaMelo, he still played the same way. I don't know if he's going to win too many championships, but he still played the same way. Then I'm gonna go Zion Williamson. Zion was different too. Like, I understand that, like, looking at Zion on a mixtape, I understand the excitement for him every single year. Yo, they got Zion, he gonna cook. Injured. He only played about, I was watching the game last night, and I believe he only played, 41 to 46% of his games since he's been in the league. He had 1 year where he played like 72 games or 70 games, I believe. But I understand it. You're just hoping to get that mixtape Zion. Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, you gotta go look at Ben Simmons' mixtape. You gotta look at that and realize that's somebody 6'10". He dribbling through smaller guards, everything. Now, the only thing I don't like about Ben Simmons and Zion Williamson mixtape is their competition. Like some of the stuff that Zion was doing was just utterly disrespectful. Like, I mean, the kids that was out there, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It was the way what he was doing, they look like kids. Like, they look like kids, bro. Like, leave them kids alone. I was about to report it. Some level of child abuse. It had to be some level of child abuse when Zion was out there. Jalen Green. I like Jalen Green, bro. I like Jalen Green. I still got faith in the kid, man. I like him. I like this. I want to see what he do with the Suns, but he play the same way too. And then he's smooth and he quick. I like smooth, quick players. Smooth and quick. Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. was also disrespectful. He did something where he stutter step and just pull up into a three right into his mid. He a bucket. Huh? Tough. He was tough. And you talking about somebody 6'10". 6'10", bro. And then last but not least, Drew Holiday. I should have put Drew Holiday up there with Brandon Jennings and Austin Rivers. If y'all see this on Instagram, the order going to be a little different. But I should have put it up there with them. Drew Holiday was a dog. He was doing stuff. He was passing, dunking. Like, he deserved all the flowers. I say Drew Holiday, probably the only one on this list who's a Hall of Famer. You think Derrick Rose is going to be a Hall of Famer? Not first ballot. If he is, he might be the only MVP in history that don't go Hall of Fame. I mean, he averaged 17 points. Then not on those significant winning teams. So.
You got Zion. You don't think Zion has the potential to be a Hall of Famer? That's still early in his career.
Everybody got a potential.
Yeah.
Everybody got a potential. You know what I mean?
You ever see OJ Mayo in high school? You ever see his high school highlights?
OJ Mayo was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, OJ Mayo. I forgot about him. OJ Mayo might have to go in here too.